the Ganesha, or the Ganapati, the Lord of the Rabble. He's the one that looks like an elephant. And he is the son of Shiva and Parvati. And there's all sorts of great stories about him. And he's a very beloved, mythical and mystical hero of the Indian pantheon. And he also, it's not just because he's cuddly and likes to eat a lot of sweets that people like him. It's that it's all that he symbolizes. And he symbolically is the keeper of thresholds. He marks this from that and here from there, and now from then. And in our lives, we have certain thresholds that we pass through, and some of those are seasonal thresholds. So we just went through the Labor Day weekend, which, even though it's not actually the true end of summer, it is our marker of that here where we live. And it's the gate on this end of things. On the other end of the summer, there was Memorial Day. That was the entry gate to the summer, even though that's not really this summer either. And the exit gate is Labor Day. And we mark those in the ways that we do, which means you don't go to work, but you come to yoga, or you went somewhere, or you slept late. But we have those to put bookends. And so this is who Ganesha is he's the gateways of things. And he then also, by virtue of that, is really a beautiful one to turn to when you're looking to create or add a little more meaning into anything that you're doing. Because when we get back to the fall or to the regular year that's outside of summer, at first we're really happy to get back to the routine. I am anyway. And then you can start getting to this place where you're just sort of floating through. You're just going here and you're going there, because on this day I go here and on this day I go there. And I make my coffee this way and I drive this way to work and I eat with this friend on this afternoon. And all great things, but they can just start to get and feel a little bit stale. And then you can start to feel like you need to do something drastic to make your life more interesting. And sometimes that's not real. Sometimes that is what's needed in your life. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just need to find places in your life to add ritual or to add meaning. To make an ordinary, everyday occurrence one that you actually are saying, oh, I'm going to make meaning. So some of the ways that, would be common in people's lives to make meaning would be to say grace or offer gratitude before a meal. That's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's one way. You pause before you take your food and you say, wow. Like, even you just look at your plate and say, wow, this is beautiful. Thank you to the people who made it, who grew it, who drove it to the store, all those things. Or to the people who picked those walnuts off those trees, which we're doing right now in the house. So that's one way that people that's sort of normal in life. People might do that. You've seen that. You've been a part of that. But what it's doing is saying, okay, now not only are we just taking in calories so that we can move and do the things we have to do and stay alive, we're going to pause and we're going to create a threshold and a ritual we walk through before we start to eat. And, it doesn't have to be that. It can be the smallest of things. Just a pause. So one thing that I do, you just saw my hand go to my necklace. So when I'm driving home from teaching on my teaching week, or when I'm leaving where I live and driving down into town, there's about 45 minutes from my house, there's this moment where I can feel energetically that I'm home, or that now I'm headed into my teaching week. And it's right, if I'm coming home, it's right where you start to climb. If I'm coming here, it's right where I start to descend. And there happens to be the county line right there. And so see that, that ascent or that descent, and I can see that line. My hand always goes right here, like it's a talisman. It goes here, it says, now I'm home, or now I'm going through this threshold, and I'm headed towards teaching, right? So little tiny things can actually begin to create more meaning and texture and a structure into your life that is very sweet. It doesn't have to be this big, huge, fancy deal. You don't have to go through your house with bells and incense and chanting, just, the gesture, now I'm home. Oftentimes you'll see me when I walk through this door to come in. You pause at the door to the studio, and you bow down and you just touch your hand to the inside of the studio, back to here, back to there. It's just a gesture. Now I'm walking through. Now we enter in. And so when we're practicing, we want to think of that. There's lots of little threshold moments in the practice. You return to mountain pose, or just between sides of poses, where there's just a little built-in pause that's marking that happened, now this has happened. And then Ganesha holds all of this for us, and we celebrate him during this 10 days. So we'll do a little bit of a Ganesha practice, a gateway practice. So close your eyes, please.